Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Coach Nyla. I'm gonna just starting the broadcast now. Welcome to Queen's Poly Tea and Chat. But we're gonna chat it up. So, and in this live cast of the Poly Tea and Chat, we are going to discuss jealousies, what they are, how to identify them, so we can control them. We get a lot of questions. You see, I have my kind of British. I don't know if I was really doing a good British accent, but usually you hear about tea and chat. Is tea and chat? It's usually I hear from the British. I'm just saying. But anyway, that was not a good a good rendition of it. But anyway, so we're going to talk about jealousy. Is we do get a lot of questions and comments and things like that about jealousy and polygyny. And jealousy is it's a normal response, reaction. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. So, what I would like for you guys to do is put in the chat where you guys are watching from. I am Coach Nyla. I'm one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as, co-author of the book Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Okay, so I'm getting over a little bit of cold, so you might hear that. So good thing with the poly tea and chat. I have my tea. Do you have your tea? Make sure you get it if you don't. So we're going to get started in a bit. We're also going to have this as a call in. So if you want to chime in and chat with us, definitely, or chat with me, it's cool. In the audience, let us know. Let me know. I'm going to send you guys an invite in order to do that. But get a pen, paper, something to write with. We're just pretty much going to chat, but you might get some good nuggets and some good things from this. So I have always been told to trust a short memory over, a short pencil. See, I always get that mixed up. See, that's why I need to write it down. That's why I make sure I keep a short pencil over a long memory any day. So let me make sure things are being shared. Share also, because sharing is caring. And let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me make sure. Okay. So, when it comes to jealousy is one of the big issues that we see a lot when it comes to polygyny. And I would actually say that jealousy is just normal between women, period. You let me know if I'm wrong about that. But I've had different jealousies with friends of mine, with my sisters, just people in my family, cousins, all of that stuff. So I know that is normal. I know it's a natural emotion. It's a natural emotion. It's how we deal with those jealousies. And that's the big deal. How we deal with those jealousies. And a lot of times we can deal with jealousy in very immature fashions and immature ways. And there are times we want to deal with it better. We'll ask about it and we say, well, it don't even come to the point of how do I control my jealousy? It's more of how do I not be jealous? How do you get rid of jealousies? I don't know about getting rid of them, so to speak. However, being able to control them. And what I mean by control them is being able to recognize them for what they are and respond in a way that is mature when it comes to that. Being able to recognize them, being able to say, well, this is what it is. Is this true? Ask ourselves these different questions, and we'll get into that and we'll chat about that in a minute. Here's the thing that I heard or that I read, because I'm going to share with you something that was really interesting to me. Because when I was thinking about doing this topic for the Poly Tea and Chat, I was coming up with different different types of jealousies. And the interesting thing is, as I was coming up with these different type of jealousies, I started to say, let me do some research on some of this stuff. And as I started looking, I realized that the things that I were coming up with was already there. It was just that sometimes we just don't know that they exist. We can feel these certain types of jealousies, but we may not even realize that there are different types of jealousy, as well as there are different stages in jealousy. So let me share something with you. What I saw, a couple things. One, the different types of jealousy. They have romantic jealousy. Romantic jealousy. Give just a second, guys. 1 second. I just want to make sure I get these things together. so, so there are different. So let me get into what I was stating before. And of course, make sure you guys are sharing. Of course, sharing is caring. And definitely let me know if you guys just joining. Um, Again, my name is Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of the book Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Those who are watching from social medias, YouTube, Facebook, we are also broadcasting this and usually broadcast this from our excuse me, from our community, our private troll-free community. If you're not a part of it, definitely, excuse me, I'm going to drink some tea now. Make sure you go to the community and join us there. Have a lot of like-minded people. We discuss topics like what we're going to discuss today. Jealousy is different ways to have fulfillment in polygyny, all that other wonderful stuff. And you will, if you are not a part of it, you can go to oprcommunity.com and register there. Hello, loves. We are back. No. So those who are, yes, we are back. Poly Tea and Chat, where we are going to be chatting about and discussing about jealousies, how to identify them so we can control them, so we are able to know what they look like and be able to maturely handle them. It's not just about, I guess, controlling them because when they come, they come. You know, you're jealous, you feel this sense of jealousy. It can come over you, but being able to deal with it in a healthy way, that's the key. That's the key. So we're going to get into that. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam, Miss Loretta. Walaikum assalam, Brookish. London. Okay, don't don't get on me about my wannabe British accent. We have our tea and chat. Alhamdulillah. Asatu, salam, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you guys for joining. So, as I was stating earlier before the quick break, jealousies. I was doing some research because I started to come up with different types of jealousies because I know throughout my life, I've I can't say jealousy is jealousy. It's like, okay, you're jealous, you're jealous. We understand that, jealousy is kind of jealousy. But if we know and can pinpoint what they look like, what the different types of jealousies look like, then we are more aware. And being self-aware is super duper important. Being self-aware is super duper important for fulfilling relationships. Outstanding personal relationships, that's what we're all about. We're about having outstanding personal relationships. How do we do that? Well, we master ourselves. Know what that self-awareness looks like, because we can only control us. We can't control other people. But if we are working at being our best selves, we are going to attract those people who are attracted to people who are working on themselves, or who are exuding this confidence and this betterment of themselves, because they're doing the same. I remember stating before, I said, you are going to attract the people who you need to attract in your life by the way you carry yourself, by the way you present yourself. And if you're being fake or phony, that's going to attract fake and phony people too. And people can see through that a mile away. Whether we think we're fooling anybody, we're not fooling anybody. A lot of times we're not even fooling ourselves. So being able to be self-aware and recognize what things look like, recognize what triggers us, what bothers us, what allows us to have the warm, fuzzy feelings inside, and those different things like that are very important, because then when we are self-aware and we are aware of our surroundings and what's going on around us, and also inside of us, we are more aware of what's going on around us with other people, including our spouses. And being able to, one part of dealing with other people and dealing with emotions and things like that is jealousy. We get that the question about jealousy in many different ways and forms, but it all comes out to, how do I control my jealousy? I can be jealous, or I can't share. We'll have wives that say, I won't be able to share my husband because I'm too jealous. Or my husband married again, and I'm too jealous. I'm too jealous. I don't know how to move past this jealousy. And then you have incoming wives as well that say, well, I'm jealous of my co-wife. I'm jealous of the relationship that they have, or the children that they have, or all these other different things. So being able to pinpoint what they are, what they look like, what triggers they is very important to be able, are very important, is very important. I don't remember which word I used, to be able to move forward in fulfillment for ourselves. And the sooner we do that, the quicker we do that, the quicker we give ourselves permission to learn about ourselves. It's okay to not know everything. We don't know everything. It's okay to not know at first, if it's your intention and if it's your goal and action to be intelligent over time. They say it's okay to be ignorant at first if it's, your intention, your goal to be intelligent over time. And not only your goal, but you are working towards that. Okay. So let me share with you what I saw about the different types of jealousy, which was really interesting to me. So they talked about, I was reading this article, and they talked about different types of jealousies. One was talking about romantic jealousy. And romantic jealousy, they said, is kind of considered the usual type of jealousy. This is the jealousy that includes the different thoughts and feelings. And, when you're imagining things, when we say we can make what we think can be our reality. And it may not be the way we thought it to be, but we thought it, so it's real, and it could be the truth for us, but it may not be the truth. You get what I'm saying? So being able to recognize these things is very important, but that's what they consider romantic jealousy. It's conjuring up what might be, what could be. that type of thing. For example, co-wives, or the husband leaves for the evening, or he leaves for the day, or whatever the case may be. And we're thinking, oh, he's going to be with her and they're going to do all these things together. And we haven't done this. And they're, those type of things where we're conjuring up our own narrative of what he's doing when he's not with us, or when we think he's with, our co-wife. And those jealousies happen. Those jealousies come into play. We're going to talk about the different types of jealousies, and then we'll discuss what ways we can kind of recognize them, what they look like, and how we will combat those jealousies, or at least be able to recognize them and say, well, what do I do now? Now I know what they are, or I know what the trigger looks like, or I know what I'm feeling inside, what constitutes as me getting into this state of jealousy. Now what do I do? So that's romantic jealousy. And then you have sexual jealousy, which is really interesting, because you're like, okay, how come that's not the same or in the same category? Well, they have it where it's different, where say it's manifested in suspicion of physical infidelity. Now that I didn't think about, because I'm like, okay, romantic jealousy, things that we're conjuring up with our, our spouse, our romantic partner, things like that. But the other one is like, no, this is specifically where I'm suspecting it's an infidelity there. And there are different, everybody doesn't go through that. Now, we always say, or we say a lot, I don't always say, we say that jealousy is normal. People go through jealousy. And it seems to be so blanket. And I was like, I didn't want to come into this tea and chat to just give you a blanket thing and say, well, this is jealousy. This is how you combat jealousy. And there you go. Ta-da. But because it's not that. It's, I realize that it's different types of jealousy, and everybody may go through jealousy at some point in their lives, but it's not always the same type of jealousy. So it makes so much sense when people are like, well, you don't understand from this point of view, because this is not the jealousy that I'm feeling. I'm feeling this type of jealousy. But what I will say is that regardless of what type of jealousy that you are experiencing or feeling, when it all comes down to being aware of what it is and being able to pinpoint that and then move forward, that's kind of all around the board. Being self-aware is being self-aware, meaning that you know what your triggers are, you know what the feeling feels like, and then you work on what ways you can get over it or go through it or grow through it. So yes, that one. And they have rational jealousy. And then it said it's kind of this, it says that there's a real and reasonable doubt in a partner. So it said jealous partner behaves so to prevent the loss of a loved one, but in a socially acceptable way without intimidation, humiliation, threats, and other forms of inappropriate behavior. So that's really interesting to me, because it's like, okay, it's not about a particular type of jealousy where you think that they're doing something wrong or they're doing something shady or just under the cuff. Under the cuff. Of course, when I start talking to you guys, of course, my throat want to act crazy. But after, it's not just that. It's not that. It's you're having some type of doubt about how this person is responding, reacting, or behaving in your life, I guess. And then not only how they're responding or behaving or reacting, then you are reacting a certain way. But it's not going off the deep end or anything like that. I kind of look at it sometimes as the side eye or like, whatever, type of thing. But all of these things, it don't matter how sweet and soft it may look. Like, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. That's not the bad type of jealousy. It's when you're going off all crazy, or when you're throwing things, or when you're accusing people of stuff. Even the side eye or the doubt or the things like that, that can cause a bunch of issues and problems and troubles in your marriage. let me know. Let's talk about it in the chat. If you agree, disagree, let's chat about it. And then I'm going to get into the other forms that they said. And then we'll talk about the levels. Crazy. It's levels to this, people. It's levels to this. So I'm going through the chat. I'm going to bring some stuff up and then we'll go. I said, this is a chat, so we're definitely going to chat about this. Okay, so Dora, sorry. My eyes weren't working right. So, walaikum assalam, assalamu alaikum. Maybe the husband can be fair about money, cars, houses, etc., but the heart. No one can equally love someone, even the children. If you don't love them equally, sometimes you have, even the children, you don't love them equally. Sometimes you have favorites. I was trying to see if this is in addition to that, which is, yeah, you can't control. We can't control our heart. We can control what we do and how we respond and react and what that looks like on the outside. But Allah, or the Most High, God, is the controller of hearts. So, and you talk about the favorites. It's really interesting because people say, oh, you have favorites, you pick favorites. And we would do the same thing. We would say the same thing with my mom. We're like, well, you have your favorites. However, we usually say that when we just think that a person is getting something that we haven't gotten. But if we looked at the whole bigger picture, we really wouldn't be able to tell who was the favorite and who wasn't the favorite. So sometimes we only look at things in a really small viewfinder. And then we base our things off that. And a lot of that can come from the jealousies as well, that we see a little snippet of something and we blow it up to the, that this is the main thing or this is the big picture. But you are right. He can be definitely just with what Coach Nazir calls the measurables. These are measurables. You can see what the money looks like. You can see what the clothes or the gifts and things like that. You can see those things. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, that's, you see, the only person, Allah knows best. The Most High knows best. The thing is that we cannot tell our husband that he loves somebody more than other based on what we think. We don't know his heart. We can't see that. But we can see patterns. We can see different, not only patterns, but, actions and things like that. That's why it's definitely encouraged that, that husbands are very, even parents, even with parents, because you also mentioned children, with the children, but we are being very mindful, being very intentional on how we show our love and how we show our appreciation, how we show our gratitude and things as far as that. So, but we also, as the ones that's on the outside looking in, I guess I should say, like, even if it's happening within your life or household or something on the lines of that, on the outside, you're still on the outside looking in because you're not inside your husband's body. You don't know what that may be to him. He could be doing a particular thing because he want to make sure there's justice there. He may be doing a thing because a person may be more needy at that time than the other one. So it's a lot of different things. And if we don't know these things, which we would not know definitively, we have to be careful, and we must look, if we want fulfilling relationships, to give our husbands grace. So let me see. Try to think of some things. Give me a second. Okay, so I can't see it now. Here we go. It says, I would think at all who he loves more, with which child he loves more, and with who he wants to stay more, or I don't understand that. If he will marry another woman, I would think about these things at all. Okay, I want to say I don't understand it fully, but I'm thinking that, and let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong about the being so caught up on the if he likes this person more, then he's going to be with them more. He's going to do more things for this person. As I stated before, having a husband that we don't know what's in their hearts. I've had different ideas about that, even being an incoming wife coming in and things like that, where it's like, oh well, he's known her longer, their childhood or high school sweethearts, and when it was very early on in our polygyny journey, it was it wasn't an easy thing. Those who follow us and those who know that the transition was not nice and smooth and sunshine and rainbows and kittens and unicorns. It wasn't that way. However, we started to grow and things as far as that. But even during that time, I had my own jealousies and insecurities, and those insecurities kind of took over of how I felt and how I saw the bigger picture of things. So if he was comforting Coach Fatima, or he was trying to get her to understand that she's still loved and nothing has changed, those things have not changed, these type of things like that, for me, it's understandable for him to do that. But for me, I was like, well, what about me? I feel left out. I feel a certain type of way. I don't feel you're giving me that, type of stuff. So then the jealousy is like, well, you love her more than me. And, or you're spending all this time with her to get her to understand this. And then I'm like, I'm suffering over here. We would, we will put so much emphasis on our own pain. Not that we shouldn't acknowledge that the hurt and the pain and the insecurities and the jealousies and things like that are there. Yes, but putting something definitive on, well, you love this person more, and that comparison type of thing. Comparison is a thief of joy. We don't know. I would say don't sign up for that class, because all it's going to do is create heartache and mistrust and insecurities and these different things. And I know that from experience as well as from different clients, is that when I got out of the mindset of trying to compare or try to really be like a scorekeeper of how long he spent over there, or who he's sitting closer to, or those different things like that, it got to the point of where it's like, when it was like, you know what, I'm going to mind my marriage, and I'm going to work on building a better connection between us. I'm not going to think about what he's doing outside of, when he's around me, or I'm not going to side eye and say, well, is he sitting 2 inches, closer to her, or did he touch her? Did he, those type of things like that. Because if we're constantly looking for trouble, or we're looking for fitting, or we're looking for something negative, the shaitan, the devil, Satan, whatever you want to call them, is going to be there giving it to you. Going to be feeding it to you. Going to be feeding it to you. So that's the thing. It's easier said than done, but it does take a decision. It does take a decision, and that decision is being really aware of, why am I feeling this way? Is it true that the reasons why I put that are feeling this way? Give me 1 second, guys. Take a sip. So, give me a second. Okay, sorry, team. I had a bad coughing fit, and the tea was not helping. The tea was not. See the crying, see the little tear. Okay, so we were talking about being able to recognize when you have a bad coughing fit and you have to get off the air for a second. No, we were talking about just making sure that you are well aware of what's going on, and that's very, very important. So, yeah. Okay, so if you guys want to chat, you want to join in on the chat, I'm going to send an invite link. Actually, a wonderful hubby, Coach Nyla is going to do it because definitely behind the scenes, making sure that we get it all right together. I totally appreciate that. Alhamdulillah. So you guys will be able to see it you'll see it in the chat. It will be a link for you to join in with me and share your stories and your anecdotes and all that other good stuff. All right, let's go into here we go. All right, bookish. I feel a type of way if my husband loves another woman, even though I support him marrying again. Him loving a wife physically makes me feel less special. I need to work on myself with that. You know what's a beautiful thing? And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit is being able to recognize that. Being able to recognize that this is what I'm feeling. This is what I need to work on. That's what I'm talking about this being self-aware. When we talk about emotional maturity doesn't mean we don't go through the emotions. We don't get upset. We don't get sad. We don't feel jealousy. That's not what that means. It means that we recognize it and we say, you know what? This is what I need to work on. Not only saying that this is what I need to work on, I need to find the tools, the resources, and take action on working on it. Super amazing. So I think, and then let me know what you think about this. Because I had a thing that I thought about, where I said, if polygyny was just as talked about, just as put out there as monogamy, where you had the resources and the help and the resources, the help, the assistance, and just it was a normal conversation, just like monogamy. So when a person, you know what, I want to get married, and you know what, I don't know which one yet. I may fear to polygyny or maybe monogamy. I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm weighing the pros and cons of it for me, what this looked like. And it was just a normal conversation. And this is just how life was. This is how society was. It was like, it's a choice. Not that if you are in polygyny, oh my gosh, the husband doesn't love you anymore. Oh, if he is loving on another woman, or if he cares about somebody else. Not understanding that, men are polygynous by nature anyway, but instead of shunning them for it or saying that is only for their lustful desire, like making them feel bad, being kind of like, now we're enemies. Excuse me. Would we be really having this discussion so heavy about jealousy? Will we have this discussion so heavily about being possessive? Because that is what it is. We want to really call it what it is. I'm not saying people are bad for feeling that way. I've felt that way a number of occasions for a number of different things, whether it be at the beginning wondering about time, or maybe wondering about when it's a particular day. I'll give you an example. At the beginning, we did not share our, we didn't go to eat together, like our celebration. We did not share those days like that. Whoever's home, Coach Nadir spent the night over, or was whoever, it is, they're both his homes, but you get what I'm saying. Whichever wife he was with that evening, or that household, because I don't split the family, we're all one family. But if he was at that household, then into the morning, that's where he will spend Eid with them. And the other household would do, something else. Or, we'll still be in the same place possibly, or we'll be in different places, but he wouldn't be with both households. And seriously, I used to look at the days on the calendar. I used to look at the days on the calendar, like, is he going to be with me on this Eid? Is he going to be with us, or is he going to be over there? And the thing is, when it comes to special occasions and things as far as that, like Eid and birthdays or certain things like that, even when it's his birthday, it's like we want to be able to, have a good time and do some things for him, or whatever the case may be, just stuff like that. And you don't know where he's, which place he's going to be at. And if he's not with you, then it's like you're feeling kind of left out. You feel like you can't express or do the things, or you have to wait to do the things with him. I know there are a number of wives that say, well, I feel like that every day when he's not with me. That's totally understandable. The thing is that we have to understand that you are 100% his wife, just as much as he's 100% of your husband. If there's something that is special going on, or something that is serious that's going on, being able to have a clear-cut plan of action, or what this is going to look like when these things happen, is very helpful. At the beginning, we didn't have it where everything was kind of, this is what it's going to be, this is how it's going to, it was that, the one thing that was clear was that whoever house, he was over, that's what it was going to be the next day. And that was a thing that for me, it didn't sit well with me, just because it could be two, we have, excuse me, 2 Eids a year, and 2 of those Eids could probably fall on one other person's house. And it wasn't even just that, oh, well, he's not with me, I'll have an issue. It would be, even if it was, that was like, I would like for us to all be together. I've been on that mindset of, I want us to all be together. And he was too. And when he changed, and where he was like, he really made it clear that this is what it's going to be, I felt that it opened up so much. I don't know why. Okay. It opened up so much for us to bond as a family together. So, and it quelled a lot of different jealousies. But one of the things we have to understand, that communication is key, and communication even with ourselves first. As I stated before, asking these questions: why am I feeling this way? If the reason why I'm feeling this certain way is because of maybe some of the actions of the husband, then please have that conversation. But it's the way you have it is very, very important. And it's way too much to get into the tea and chat, but we have different programs for that. We definitely train on that in the Women's Polygyny Masterclass, how to have those conversations, the quote unquote hard conversations, because the hard conversation is not just a conversation of polygyny in itself, of saying, oh, he want to marry again or whatever. The hard conversations are the uncomfortable conversations of day-to-day life. It could be of, when it comes to, you may think the child that he has with one wife is probably getting preferential treatment of the child that you have with him. It could be, a number of different things. It could be that you may think that, he's preferring, or he's leaning, so to speak, to your co-wife more than he is to you, or certain things like that. Not that is necessarily true, but if you are having these type of thoughts, being able to first go to yourself, go to you first, and discuss these things and write out and answer these questions. Is it true? If it is, why? Why do I feel that this is true? Could I be feeling this way because of some past things that I haven't gotten over? Whether it's some past things that has happened within the marriage or some past things that's happened in your childhood. These different things, being able to find our core beliefs or going really deep into saying it got to be bigger than this. Usually it really is. It's not just the surface level, especially if it's something we're constantly bringing up or it's constantly affecting us or infecting us, those different types of things. So being able to go and sort those things out. I'm a type of person, and I feel it works very well and has worked well for a number of my clients. So I'm going to give you guys this little tip. When you're feeling emotional or in a heavy state of, in a challenging, negative way, write a letter. Write a letter, what you want to say, everything you want to say, what you feel, all that other stuff, and let it sit. Let it sit for at least a day. I don't care, a day, a week, whatever, but let it sit and then go back to it and read it. And if there's still some issues there that you need to discuss, if it's still bothering you, then have the conversation. This is how you start the conversation. Are you in a receptive state? I want to talk to you about something that's been troubling me, but are you in a receptive state? And you have to be in a receptive state as well. Because even though you are speaking about what you have going on within you, you have to first seek to understand to be understood. So be receptive enough as well that if he is to say something, because you have to understand men and women are not the same. We are not the same. The way we may take things may be totally different. And then that can even go on a case by case basis, not just between men and women, but just person to person. What may be disrespectful to one may not be disrespectful to the other. However, when you are looking to understand first, then that's when, and that's on both sides, but you can only control you. So when you're seeking to understand and you understand it, then you say, you know what, whatever, and it's given that grace, whatever he's feeling or whatever he's saying, if you know that your husband is a good husband and he is working, to create balance and to create security and to create a legacy and these other things, give him that grace and try to understand his point of view as well as express yours. Because the thing is, he is going to be more open to listening to what your point of view is if you're not yelling at him, accusing him, fussing at him, and spewing out the negativities that could come from the immediate reaction that jealousies can cause. Okay? So let's see here. Ooh, I went way too far. Got a number of things here. Said, feels less special. Okay. So let's see. Dealing, I have two. Like my salam to Lord, I have two wives, and it's not easy task dealing with two women who are both emotionally attached. It takes extreme patience with polygyny. It does. It definitely does. It takes patience and understanding, but it also takes being a leader to state that, you know what, I understand what's going on, or I know you have these specific type of feelings, and I know you're emotionally attached, but you know what, either pushing them or guiding them to some places that can help to not, which is, I will suggest our OPR community, of course, first and foremost. Of course, we have other programs and things as far as that, but the OPR community, because a lot of like-minded people there. But it's that being emotionally attached is really interesting that you say that, because sometimes they'd be like, okay, well, then that means that shows that I love them. That shows that I care about them. And there's different types. And in another Polygyny chat, we're going to talk about different types of love styles and what that looks like too, because being very attached, what's the word I'm looking for? It's codependent, I think that's the word that I'm looking for, it can cause some problems too. And it can, women, listen to that. I had to put that on there because you have husbands that are like, it takes a lot of patience. I'm stressed out because I'm being pulled this way and that way. And I'm like, what? I don't know what to even do because I got this person that's feeling this way and this person's feeling this way. And I want to please them both. And it's jealousies here and jealousies there and flailing all over the place. It's like we are creating our own trauma and our own drama in our relationships because we are too busy worried about us, and what it might look like for us. And instead of looking at the bigger picture, especially when it comes to polygyny, yes, you're monogamously married to your husband, but when it all comes down to it, you're still a family. He's the head of this family. Even if you may not, for some whatever reason, don't want to deal with your co-wife. We have videos on that. I'm not going to get into that here. But he is dealing with a lot of that. And I know there'll be women that say, well, he chose this, so he should have to deal with that. What does that say about you as your husband's friend? My co-wife did a number of videos, one on being, the friend or foe, and the other one about, do you want your husband to win, and not even just in polygyny, but do you want him to win? When do you become a person that, when did it become that where you guys are enemies now? So if you're saying that once he married again, is like, well, he deals with that and I'm not going to make it easy. You just went from my husband, my friend, to my husband, my foe, because of what your jealousies did. And then in the same sense, you say, well, I want him to understand me. But you have to understand, you have to seek to understand first and then be understood. That works all around the board. And if he's seeing that, and I've dealt with a number of clients, one client who is her relationship with her husband is improving by leaps and bounds because he knows that he can come to her. He knows that they can talk. And it wasn't like that at first because she wasn't as open. But then when she started to be a little bit more vulnerable, but also being there to listen to him, now their relationship, now their marriage is just on an upward path and is becoming very beautiful and very fulfilling. It's not always sunshine and rainbows and kittens and unicorns, but they can talk about the challenging things and still come out on top. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it wasn't like that at first, but it was really taking those steps and being able to try to understand so you can bond and connect with one another. So alhamdulillah, I am going to add a bit to the chat. She said, I agree. I need to mind my own marriage and work on myself. Okay. I'm about to bring you in.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Wa alaikum assalam to like Better. Yes, I can. I was just getting to your comment too, where you said you need to mind your own marriage and work on yourself and develop yourself emotionally.
Yeah, definitely.
It's being able to recognize that, right?
Definitely. I think it takes time to look within yourself and self reflect to be able to know that perhaps.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, and I'm going to ask, we're going to get into the, like, of course, we're talking about jealousies.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
have you taken the steps, some strides, and saying, you know what this may look like? So, let's move forward on how to, I don't really want to say control, but I want to say
Address it or
handle,
like hand it. Yeah.
address it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's something I want to work on before the situation occurs. So my current situation is that I'm married to my husband for 6 years, 9 months pregnant, alhamdulillah. And I had the discussion with my husband and brought up the topic of polygyny to him first, which may sound weird to some, but I
But
really
that's good.
admire the qualities and attributes of my husband, and I feel like he'll be great in the way that he'll be fair and just to
Mm-hmm.
another wife as he is to me. And I feel like you should love for your brothers and sisters what you love for yourself. And I want to actually, take that on in my personal life and not just say it, but put it into action.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. That's a beautiful thing too. And I've heard before, because of course we say want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself,
Hmm.
and when we were saying that, we would get met with people would say, well, no one ever says that until it comes to polygyny. No one ever says that. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true, but it's like, this is one of, it seems as though the hardest topics that that comes to mind when it comes to putting that sunnah, or putting that in place. It's like wanting for you. It's like, that's why we say it much when it comes to polygyny, because it seems as though that it's almost the hardest thing to do, because people, we do have that. If you want to share, or I don't want to share. Now, I posed a question earlier, and I would like for you to answer it too, if you wouldn't mind, as well as anybody in the chat. I posed a question earlier about if polygyny was just as talked about as monogamy, or just as put out there, like given its fair stage time, would we be in the mindset of, as possessive as we are, I guess I would say, or, as jealous as we can be when it comes to our husbands wanting to marry again, or even marrying again?
I think perhaps, because this is like figuratively speaking, because we're not in that society where it's accepted as much. So I can only
Mm-hmm.
say if it was the case, I think people would be more open-minded to it, because it's given the fair level of monogamy as that polygyny is as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think so, but I can only say figuratively speaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And I know we can only do it like figuratively right now, just for the
Mm.
simple fact that it's, well, in the society that I grew up in, it wasn't where that was something normal. It's still not. But I know there are a number of clients and a number of people who follow us, who they said that that is actually normal. So with them, it's not about per se polygyny. It's that we want to make sure that our rights are being met and things are being done on a smoother scale. So it's more of that than anything else. So yeah, um, I agree with you. Sometimes if you're not in that, it's like, well, I can only speculate, but yeah, I would think that too. I just want to pose that question out there. Those who are in societies where polygyny, you kind of grew up in it, like your father, or you had, you know, um, bonus moms and different things like that, or whatever. Let me know in the chat. How did that fare? For you, growing up. Did it make you so much more understanding of polygyny? It was like, well, this is what it is, or I wouldn't mind polygyny if it was, if it was something out there, which it is now, alhamdulillah, that can guide people on the right way to do it, as far as what it may look like for different emotions and dealing with that, dealing with additions and blending of families and things as far as that. Um, so I'm going to put a question up here. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Um, Shava. As a Salams, do you think that talking to your husband about those feelings of feeling less special will help? Excuse me. Like, as I stated before, earlier, having that conversation is just a way that, like I stated before, the way that it should be done, um, for best practices, and I've seen it on numerous occasions, including, as I stated, one of my clients where she could say, and it was really, really good. And I'm not going to give all the information, but just a snippet of a story. of that. He got sick and she didn't see him much. And then she told him, she's like, I was, or that she don't see him. He was actually out of town. My fault. He was out of town, and he got sick. But something happened with his phone. Something happened with his phone. Give me 1 second. Sister, thank you so much for joining the chat. I
Absolutely.
truly
Thank you for having me
appreciate
on. Shall
your.
I leave now?
Oh yes, I will move you from the stream. Alhamdulillah. So she she had he's something happened with his phone, and she didn't get to speak to him because he's out of town, and his phone, something is wrong with his phone. But they chat a certain way on through a certain app or something, but for some reason it wasn't working. However, she was able to discuss with him that I was worried. I was worried. We usually talk this way. For you, you are the leader. You are the man. You are, my husband. I shouldn't have to worry that way. And I know you wouldn't want to worry like that with me. There wouldn't be an excuse for you not to be able, for me not to be able to contact you, or for you not to be able to contact me. So I would like for you to be more mindful, and if you could, find a solution or a certain way, so I'm not worried sick. It was that type of thing. So it wasn't even just, oh well, you need to talk to me, or I couldn't do. It was just the way she did it was in a feminine, soft, beautiful way, but she still stated her her feelings. And if I'm not mistaken, when he was out of town, he was with his other wife, but they still spoke, whether or not he was with his other wife or not. They still had this time where they would speak to each other. So it wasn't a thing like that. It was just that, I'm feeling a certain way. And she was able to do that, and it changed. And he immediately found a way to correct that. And it was really good. And it wasn't that she had to tell him about himself or anything like that. She was just very feminine and kind and had this grace, but she stated how she felt about it, and how it hurt her about not being able to hear from him and be there for him, and she's going through some stuff, she couldn't reach him. So alhamdulillah, yes, I think that being able to talk to your husband about that, and being able to, so asking if he's receptive, and being in a way where it's softer instead of a accusatory tone, inshallah. I'm gonna put this up here, because usually I don't I don't entertain something that seems like it could be trolling, but you know what? I want to put it out there, and I want to answer it. Aren't you scared about getting sloppy seconds? I'm not scared about getting any sloppy seconds because the first wasn't sloppy. He's not a sloppy first, so it wouldn't be a sloppy second. And so that's just really interesting that people put that out there. Like, what does that even mean? Um, I don't I don't feel, and it's not even feel, I'm not you. If you have a wonderful, strong, caring leader and a person that's demonstrating these things, there's nothing sloppy about it. So that's it. So no, not scared at all, because I don't have a sloppy second, and he's not a sloppy first. So that's that. I'm sorry. I had to get my little hood girl came out on that one, but that's that. um, I'm sorry. I totally moved something out of the way. Can we have that right back on there? Let's see. So we're going to be around for about 10 more minutes, and I've been here very, very long. This is the first one. Usually I was like, oh, I'm going to do it only for 30 minutes and things like that. But I was like, I wanted to really see how the tea and chat would go. And I think for future, we may, keep it for 45 minutes and then kind of cut it off there. When we do the tea and chat, I don't do a Q&A afterwards, because the whole tea and chat is a big Q&A and a discussion. So I don't have to worry too much about that. But for future sessions, or for future episodes, or whatever you want to call it, having a brain fart, so I don't know, can't think of the word. We are going to, we'll have it for like about 45 minutes. And the thing is that we give preferential treatment to our community members. It's a beautiful, wonderful community. I'm super excited about how it's growing. And those who are in the community, put a thumbs up in the comments, or raise your hand, things like that, because I see a number of you super excited about what we have going on. And this is a group of like-minded individuals. We're in the community, as coaches, we're in the community consistently, answering questions, putting posts, doing trainings, doing our lives. My wonderful co-wife, she has our quintessential queens on Thursdays. If you guys have not seen it, you are missing out. Make sure you are part of the community so you can check it out. Our husband does his Mindset Mondays. So you find out more information about when those air. Definitely, you will find those in the community. You have any anecdotes, you have any wins you want to share, you have any advice you want to give, or you need to get some advice, or even, have someone that can listen to you who understand what you are going through. Because sometimes when it comes to polygyny, a lot of times when it comes to polygyny, we are around people who just really don't get it. They really don't understand. And at our community at oprcommunity.com, register there if you haven't already. In that community, you will have a lot of like-minded people, and you will have people that will understand and be able to share their stories with you, as well as some anecdotes and some tips and all that other good stuff. So make sure you check it out and be a part of a wonderful community that we put together if you're not already. Again, that's oprcommunity.com. Alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah. Thank you, Aisha. Or Aisha. Aisha or Aisha. Let me know. Assalamu alaikum to like that. Katu alaikum assalam to like that. For the cat too. Just like for the sake of Allah. Love you too for the sake of Allah. Alhamdulillah. From Kenya. Kenya in the house. Alhamdulillah. Uh-oh. Say this is on marriage with my co-wife, and we can also be together and be friends. That's what you want. Inshallah. 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 I bid them. Have a co-wife. Okay. Uh-oh. So I have a co-wife. Oh, I missed that. Sorry. Said I have a co-wife. Wallahi, there is no peace. Oh, subhanallah. There might be a little peace somewhere. Let's not say we probably could find some peace. Let's get. I'll give you some ideas. There is no peace. She is a second wife, so she thinks maybe her coming in means I have problems. So she looked down on me so much, and what hurts me most is our husband. That's where the conversations come in. And of course, as stated before, definitely join us in our OPR community. Is a number of stories that you can relate to when it comes to that. But our peace, I was saying that, we should have peace. Our peace should come within. Our peace should be within. And that goes with being self-aware. That's being able to say, what triggers me, what bothers me, what are these things that are that I'm having some issues with, what are things that are going to take me off my square or cause me to be less Islamic, or my best self, be less than my best self, I should say. And being able to understand those things and being able to find your own peace, that's very important. So we have to look for peace within and look for a peace within the Most High, within Allah, and being able to have those conversations on what this looks like, and being able to mind our own marriage. We have a lot of videos on that. If you haven't, definitely check out our videos on YouTube and join us in our OPR community at oprcommunity.com. So you have more assistance and some more assistance and tips to help out, inshallah. Now, and she just says that maybe he enjoys, seeing you not be friends as co-wives. Of course, co-wives do not have to be friends. But being cordial is very important. My co-wife and I talk about it a lot, and we train on that as well in our Women's Polygyny Masterclass. And to find out more information about that, definitely go to Women's Polygyny. Go to polygamy masterclass.com. But of course, don't have to be friends, but to have a lot of strife and issues can cause problems all around the board and for the bigger picture. But being able to have those conversations, and we teach that as well in the master class of how to have the conversation, especially and also within our coaching and counseling as well, how to have the confidence in order to have those uncomfortable, hard conversations, especially being able to speak so you are received and also being able to be receptive to what you're listening to as well. Okay. Would you advise someone to get into polygamy based on your experience? I am pro polygamy. I'm pro morals, but but it depends on the person. It depends on the situation. So depending on situations and people, that's where the advice will kind of will kind of depend on. But because of the tools that we have and the resources that we have, if they are looking to get into polygyny, I would not discourage them. It would be just a guidance on how to make sure that everything is put into place. Well, I can't say everything because things change as time goes on, but being able to be mature enough to handle the changes and respect the unexpected that can happen, and that's in whether it's polygyny or monogamy, any marriage, it can happen like that. But yeah, I wouldn't discourage if it's something that they're ready for and it's something that they're looking to do and willing to do. But if that's not something that they're looking to do, I wouldn't push it. So, okay, sure. Uh-oh. Okay, oops. Thumbs up, yes, inshallah, alhamdulillah. Thanks for being in the group, in the OPR community. Thank you for allowing me to join the live. I'm sorry I was a bit quiet and reserved was, but no, alhamdulillah, you did very well. Thank you for joining. I truly appreciate having you come and join the chat. So, alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah. And for those I say that, and I know everybody who follow us and they're not Muslim, so I'll say certain things, and I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. This was a great chat, Poly T and chat. I appreciate you guys. It lasted longer than I expected it to, but this is the first one. And as I stated before, within the future ones, I want to try to kind of keep it within the 45-minute tops, so 30 to 45-minute mark. But because we will be chatting, I won't do a Q&A portion at the end and ask for question and answers or questions or anything like that, because we will be chatting on the specific topics. If you haven't already, make sure you are registered in our OPR community. That's where you're going to see a lot of us, and that's where you will get the notifications of when we are going live with the Poly T and chat. It will be a little bit earlier, inshallah, God willing, next week. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys there. And I am going to sign off soon. I just wanted to make sure that I give you guys a number of different things. If you have not yet registered for the Women's Polygamy Masterclass, make sure you go to polygamymasterclass.com. And of course, as I start to sign off, my throat start acting crazy. So, and same for the men. And if you have not gotten your polygamy roadmap, the ebook, give me 1 second. Make sure you get it at polygamyroadmap.com. Sorry, guys. So, and we have one for women and one for men. And my voice is acting crazy. So that means it's time to go. And I have one more question. I'm going to take this one more question. address this question. So real quick, and then we're give you guys some GLC, and we're out. Is a shalom, shalom. How do you deal with family gathering with the husband's parents if the first wife is against it? Here's the thing: if it's a gathering with the parents, that's what the parents are the ones who control the setting. So if you're invited, then that's how it is. But being able to control yourself, being able to be cordial, keep your distance if need be, but being able to have it where it's understood what's going on, that's very, very important. Hope that helped. Well, that's it for this session. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. And inshallah, God willing, my voice will be a whole lot better, and I will be coughing through the live, and will not have to mute the mic and all this other crazy stuff, because totally forgot to do that when I got a little fit just a second ago. And so, but until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Guys, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and inshallah, I will see you in the community. You are so welcome. Assalamu alaikum.